What's up, everybody? Breaking news. Trump just announced a 90-day tariff pause for most countries, but China retaliated, so they're going to get a little bit of a spanking, and we're going to retaliate with 125% tariffs on China. Meanwhile, the market is exploding to the upside. Remember, we were looking at CRV yesterday. I said, man, CRV looks so good. We got this three-wave pullback, right? We created a base in here. Okay, we had the divergence, right? We had, it seems to be a five-wave move to the upside. So we had a wave one. We came down A, B, C, and a wave two, right? We were talking about it right over here. And then what did we do? We had a 1, 2, and now it looks like we're moving right back up to here. So if we pull back and continue, we could create some type of inverse head and shoulders or something to that effect. But who cares about that? XRP back above $2, 207. Whoa. Guys, XRP is exploding right now. Look at this. Thank God we didn't sell. Thank God we didn't panic, right? I told you guys, look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, there's a wave 1, there's an A, there's a B, there's a C. A, B, C. There's your wave 2. It's pretty simple. And then we had a diag right here. Look at the diagonal. You could see it very clearly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A little bit of a diag. It did not give you any chance to get in. It pulled back. It consolidated a little bit. Trump announced right here that he's going to pause the tariffs. It should have been A, B, and then C down to here, down to this order block down here. That would have been your C wave. Then Trump tweeted it out. 90-day tariff pause. Take a look at this. You could see just 30 minutes ago, Trump announces 90-day tariff pause for at least some countries, for non-retaliating countries, right? Basically, Trump is a deal maker. He's a negotiator. So he is giving tariff pauses for the countries who are willing to work with the United States. China decided to retaliate. So what did Trump do? 36 minutes ago, Trump tweeted out, based on the lack of respect that China has shown to the world's markets, right? Because they're not respecting the world's markets, because the markets are coming down because China is retaliating, right? So basically, Trump says, you know what? I am hereby raising the tariff charged to China by the United States of America to 125%, right? They were at 104%, so now they're at 125%, effective immediately. At some point, hopefully in the near future, China will realize that the days of ripping off the USA and other countries is no longer sustainable or acceptable. Conversely, and based on the fact that more than 75 countries have called representatives of the United States, including the Department of Commerce, Treasury, and the USTR. What is the US Treasury? No. That's the Treasury right here. What is USTR? To negotiate a solution to the subjects that being discussed relative to trade barriers, tariffs, currency manipulation, and non-monetary tariffs. Basically, because they, the tariffs are one thing, but they also have trade barriers, right? If I'm selling an airsoft gun or something like that, it's like, oh no, you can't sell that in the United States because it's not compliant, because it's made with this aluminum alloy, and that alloy has a particle that could cause cancer, so we cannot accept that. Maybe some of the things make sense, but a lot of it's just bull crap just to not take in our products. So there you go. That's the news in less than 5 minutes. So let's get back to the charts. We see we're getting a little bit of resistance here. I don't really like the structure of it all that much. The reason why is because we are not away from the scene of the crime. The problem is right here. That's the problem. This is the problem. This is the problem. And that's exactly where we're at. So there's a lot of resistance where we are. Because when you see, the problem is when you create such a beautiful range, right, and you bounce and you bounce and you bounce, and you bounce and you bounce and you bounce, right? You create a lot of touches. The more you bounce, the weaker it becomes. But then when you break it to the downside, the stronger it becomes as resistance. So this is not over yet. We got some good news on the table, but it might not be completely over yet. So I don't think it is over yet. I still think China is gonna do some things. You know, all China has to do is come out and say, okay, we're gonna charge you another 20% tariffs. You know, that's all China has to do, and then that could send markets spiraling down. So markets don't know what to do. So, but you could see we are back in the triangle here, which is a good thing, right? Now this triangle, I look at it as a zone more than just one line. So if I put that zone, I would probably put it, let's see, somewhere right about there. Yeah, this would be good. And you can see we are actually above the zone. So we are back above the zone, right? That's a really good thing to see. So as long as we hold up here, we want to hold this zone, kind of, you know, play around a little bit, and then hopefully work our way the hell out of there. It's possible. Like I've been saying the last several days, I think the bottom is very, very much close. Now, I don't know if the bottom's completely in yet. You know, we could still have another low, right? For example, what if this is 1, 2, and then you have all of that is 3, and then we have a 3-way pullback for a 4 and then a 5. It's nothing to write home about because all we have is a 3-wave pullback, right? We got a 3-wave pullback. So we have 3 waves up, right back in resistance. It's not my favorite place to be. So what I would like to see happen is simply for the price to kind of flag out to the downside and then level off and then go sideways and then kind of muster up the support and then boom, something like that. Or we have 3 waves up, we could get 3 waves down. And we can come back to this area down over here around $1.70, $1.80 or so, and then maybe go up in 5 and then come down in 3. So that would be 3 up, 3 down, and then the 1, 2, right, kicking off a 5-wave move. Or hopefully it's not 3, hopefully it's 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 3 up, 3 down, 5 up. So 3, 3, 5. That is an ABC. All right. So 3, 3, 5, ABC. 5, 3, 5. If this was 5, that would also be an ABC. If it's 3, 3, 3, then it's a WXY. It's just a different way to label it, but it's really the same thing. It's a 3-wave move. So yeah, we're back above $2. I like it. Let's see if we can, you know, the news already came out. So I you know, everybody at their trading desk already probably made a trade based off the narrative. I don't know what's next, right? Remember, when the news comes out that the tariffs take place, there's already 10 million people that already know before you do. All right. So you think, oh, I'm the first to know because I see, you know, you're pretty much the last one to know, right? Because there's so many insiders, right? Because think about, remember 2 days ago, they said they were going to pause the tariffs and they go, oh, no, that's not true, because they knew they were going to pause it, but somebody leaked it out and somebody admitted that they were going to do it. And then the markets went up, but then they came out and said, no, we're not going to do that. But then 2 days later, they did it, right? That tells me that they were going to do it 2 days ago, but they decided not to for some reason. Or they had it planned for today and somebody spilled the beans 2 days early and they said, no, right? So, we have the potential to come back down and back test, $1.96 or so. So there you go. There's XRP. So first of all, we broke down and then we quickly came back up. So either this is how it's going to go down. Either this is a three-wave pullback to support and we're going to continue down, or this is going to turn into, this could turn into like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And we could break, because the biggest thing we need to do is break above this downward resistance line, right? So that's number one. We got to break above it. So if we can get like a 1, 2, and this is like 3, and then we kind of flag out for a 4, bust up the 5, then kind of have a little flag, ABC, maybe back test the top of the downward resistance line. You got all this resistance right in here, and then we circle around, and then we eventually break it, right? That would be like the best case that I could see. I mean, that would be amazing if we could see something like that, a complete 180 reversal. Let's take a look around and see what else we can find, and we'll circle back. DJI, DJI. Kind of reminds me of DAI, a digital asset investor, but DJI. All right. Yeah, it has a nice little double bottom. See, yeah, it's got a nice double bottom there. We came down, we made a bottom, came back up, made another bottom. So that's a nice double bottom, and then you have a bullish engulfing candle that takes the top. But really what you have is just a three-wave move. You have a three-wave pullback. So, I don't know. This, if we flip it upside down, it still looks bearish. It still looks like it could continue much further down. So just be aware of that. Let's see. Let's take a look at what's gold doing. Gold is still looking really good. Had a little bit of a knockdown here. So I would like to see it do something like that. A tether dominance is, we want tether dominance to go down. We don't want it to go up. And we can see we had a nice double bottom here, and we had a three-wave move, right? So we're right at resistance here. So it makes sense that, we're seeing a pump right around this level. So hopefully we can just keep going down. Especially now we have RLUSD. Ethereum has a nice drop here. Look at Ethereum. Ethereum, I think the low is in for Ethereum, guys. I think the low is in because it took out this level right here. And it came back, and it quickly came back. Not only that, we've been saying on this channel for a little while now that we've got basically 5 waves, and we should be wrapping this thing up. Look how massive this thing is. That's a huge wave. Okay, that's like the same size as this, pretty much. And that was like in the thick of the bear market. We're not in the thick of the bear market. Bitcoin's above 100K, right? We're still in a bear market, but we're much further along, okay? So we shouldn't have big drops like this. The fact that we had it just solidifies, in my opinion, that this is just too much. This is not warranted. Prices coming down this viciously based on all the bullish factors, like we're getting regulation, we have a pro-crypto president, we're getting XRP ETFs, we're getting utility value, right? The true utility value of crypto will be used. And that all circles around regulation. But the fact that we had this big of a crash, right, was not warranted. So that means what? It's oversold. It's too much. It doesn't deserve this, okay? Which means we're oversold, which means we're probably going to come back to a retrace. I've been calling for a retrace for probably the last week or so. maybe longer, coming back and doing a retrace. So basically what we would do is we would look at Ethereum. First of all, do we have 5 waves? Yes, it appears so. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so there you go. You have plenty of waves to the downside. That's number 1. You have 5 waves. Number 2, do we have bullish divergence? We don't on the 2-day. Do we on the 3-day? Yeah. Oh, look at the 3-day. We definitely have it on the 3-day, on the 4-day. Not on the 4-day. That's a little bit unfortunate. Let's see what the daily looks like. Daily, yeah, I don't think we're going to get any bullish divergence yet because it's so oversold. So, you know, we could have a little bit. So here's the thing, like, let's zoom in real quick. We had 5 waves here too, like 1, 2, 3, and then you had 4 and then 5. And then you set that low, right? And then this was where you wanted to, oh yeah, look at the bullish divergence there. That's very strong between that wave there. So yeah, this is definitely warranted. We're back above $200 billion market cap for Ethereum. So this has a real shot at being the low. It doesn't mean we're just going to go like this, okay? We could come back down and revisit the low. A lot of times you have to come down and revisit the low again. And that feels like we're making new lows because we went up and now we're coming down again. But we're not coming down from the low point. We're going back up, then coming down. So it changes the psychology a little bit. And it makes it feel like there's another low. And sometimes you can actually just go like this and take the low like that. And then kind of come back up and then play around. And that what that does is it creates a base. So even though we're bullish right here, we could still come all the way back down and lose $50 billion in market cap and still consider to be bullish. So it is subjective, you know, to change. And I don't think it's quite ready yet. I think the low is for the most part in. If we do see another low, it has to be very slightly like this right here. Very good example. See how you're coming down and then you come back up and then you barely just take it out and then boom, it explodes. I think that's what we should see. I think we should see that. I don't know if I would buy it right here. It's just a big fat candle. There's nothing there yet completely. So we'll see. Let's take a look at some other charts here. Again, if I take a line from here all the way down and I match it up with this, you could see we're not quite there yet, right? As relative to how big that size wave is. But we're close. So right here could be where we're heading, right? If I'm wrong and the low is not in and we have another low, which is very, very possible, then that would be where I would look for. And we're very close too. We're very close. But I just don't think so. I don't know. I just don't think so. I think where we are here, like we at the top of this, at the peak of that, right? I mean, I think especially over here, I mean, I think we're in a good spot for Ethereum. Others, I haven't looked at others in a while. So others looks pretty good. I mean, he got 5 waves though, you know. So if this is an A and then we get a B and then we get a C and then we come up, that would be kind of cool. We can flag out in here a little bit. We can also look at it like maybe like an inverse head and shoulders. You have a shoulder you have a head, you have another shoulder, and then you're coming down here, right? To revisit the low, but then eventually you break out, and that sort of activates it. I mean, that's just one idea. Another idea is that this could be a flat A, B, C. So we have 1, A, B, C, 2, 3, A, B, C, 4, right? It's a running flat, and then we go up and get 5. Possible. One thing is for sure, I think we do have 5 waves, right? 1, 2, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we're set. We are set. And then you could see where we came. We came right at here, support, support, and that's exactly where we landed. I think we have a very good chance at the low being in. I mean, I can't say for sure that the low is in, but I feel very strongly that I think we're very, very close. I think if not already. Again, what I look for is, number one, 5 waves. I look for divergence. I look for a 3-wave move. And then I also look for what's going on with the stock market. We have a double bottom. And then also Trump got rid of the tariffs. So he put a 90-day tariff pause. That's a long time. 90 days. A lot could happen in 90 days. So basically he's giving the countries 90 days. And if they don't get their act together, then those tariffs are going to go right back on. So they have to play ball. And I think this is just going to give us positive ammunition. I was just talking about that yesterday for ammunition, right? Meaning, like, for example, the law when Ripple got sued, that was a bad thing, right? That was bad news. But it was also used as positive ammunition. Meaning, it was used as, when the lawsuit was finished, we had a big explosion, right? Because Trump was president, he was going to fire Gary Gensler, and basically the lawsuit was gone. So, now we can translate that with the tariffs, right? So if the lawsuit was over, and we had this big pump because Trump was president, imagine